What is up, guys? Welcome back to another live episode of Beyond the Barrel Bourbon. I am Eric. That is Phil.
I'm Phil.
Phil brought us a new bottle of something to try. He's pretty excited about this one.
I like aged Penelope. And this is aged 9 years. They're private, so they have a new collection released this year, the Estate Collection. I think the first drop in it, they dropped their Founders Edition, or their, I think it's called the Founders Edition or something similar to that. It's a wheat whiskey, 11-year wheat whiskey. That we're not going to get.
Nope.
Because that's going to be distillery only, essentially. Lux Row, I think, is, you'd have to go to Lux Row if you want your hands on that. This is the first release that actually will hit shelves. It's a 9-year private select. So not a single barrel. Their third release will be a single barrel. 11-year single barrel. Super pumped about that one, if I can get it. 101.2 proof. The mash bill, they actually put the mash bill on here. Corn, 74% corn, 20% rye. For those checking, that's a high rye.
Don't start.
1% wheat and 5% malted barley, non-chilled filter.
You want to start opening it?
I'll start opening it.
So, all right. So
And you can tell them all how much you hate Penelope.
all right. So the first time I had Penelope, I think one of your friends, John, he brought the toasted barrel, and I thought
normal
it was,
toasted.
yeah, just a normal, the
Not
white black label toasted. It was really good. Like, I thought it was really good, and then I had it in another blind, and it was just really disappointing. And then outside of that, every Penelope that I've run into, with the exception of Rio, obviously Rio's on a different level. With the exception of Rio, I have not liked Penelope.
That's not true.
Outside of, I don't want to hear anything about your 9-year.
That's not true.
It was. I lied.
No, you didn't.
I thought y'all tricked me. So
when
I
you
lied.
find something that is MGP, you say you hate it.
So okay,
You liked.
Well, listen. I was gonna be forthcoming with this and say, I'm looking forward to this one a little bit more than I thought I would, just because I think this is the first release since MGP bought Penelope. So, like, this is their own juice, essentially, at this point.
It's MGP juice.
Yes, but I've
or
always
whatever
been
they're calling themselves now.
It starts with an S, I think.
You loved that Penelope 9-year.
I don't remember.
I do. It's part of your birthday blind. You gave it like an 82, maybe higher. Somewhere between an 82 and an 84.
I mean, if that's the case, that's the case. Cool. It's age. It's age. I like age, and I think that's kind of where I'm at this point. Is I just enjoy age. I enjoy the oak profile.
Okay.
But again, I've always said, and it may be true, it may not be true, and it might not be true.
Maybe true. Okay.
Well,
or possibly maybe might.
No.
be true.
So I've always, and I think my uncle gives me crap for this.
Everyone gives you crap for this.
But my take on this is that MGP is now going to start using their better juice in the Penelope stuff because it's their flagship. It's their own brand, right? Like, kind of like, think about what is it, Rebel? Is it not Rebel?
You're thinking of Remus.
Remus is a superior product to regular.
I've had many MGP bottles that were better than just the Remus.
Okay.
Many, including that Penelope 9-year.
I think my favorite MGP bottle that I've had is probably the Redemption Rum Cask Rye. But I'm a fan of the 95.5 Rye.
Well,
I'm a fan
Penelope's got a rum cask coming out.
And I'll jump on it. This does smell really good. It smells very creamy.
This smells
I'm getting oak.
rich.
I'm getting oak. Are you getting oak? I'm getting oak.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you what I'm getting.
I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to keep asking you.
Yes, I'm getting a little bit of oak here.
Phil's getting a little bit of oak, in case that wasn't clear.
I'm getting some more richer notes, though, like a butterscotch.
Yes.
There's a hint of baking spices here. It's not very prominent. It's much more decadent on the nose.
I'm getting a little bit of that rye. I'm getting a little bit of that rye spice on the nose. Not so much baking spice, but rye spice.
I'm getting a little bacon spice. Rye spice to me is baking spice.
I guess when I
unless you're
think
talking
baking
about-
spice, I think nutmeg. I think cinnamon. You know, like I don't.
That is, yeah.
But I don't consider
Nutmeg, cinnamon,
I don't consider
cloves.
rye a baking spice.
Rye spices. Now, if you're talking about like a rye note, like an herbal note, like a dill, or an earthy note like grass or
There's certain things you get dill on. I just don't. I haven't.
I
Found,
tend to get dill on rye products.
I
yes.
haven't gotten dill as a note.
Man, this is much more of a decadent nose than I was anticipating. There's a little hint of fruit here as well. To me, what it smells like, though, is it will be that 9-year, that previous 9-year that they released. This is a blend, but that previously 9-year release was a little more fruitier on the nose than this one.
Was that one weeded?
I don't know.
The 9-year? I don't remember.
This is less fruity. This is one of the more richer noses I've smelt on a Penelope. Now, I know one of your issues with Penelope is that
It's never the palate. It's never the nose. It's the palate.
so you've
give-
always tasted ethanol on the palate, but
Always.
you've never smelled it.
I have
Do you smell it here?
a little.
You smell it here.
A little. It's not dramatic though.
Nah, this is brown sugar.
So this kind of gives me.
Butterscotch.
This is kind of just the nose is, to me, giving off like a Heaven Hilly kind of nose.
I'm not getting that.
It's definitely not Trace. Like it's definitely not that sweet.
It's MGP.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
It's MGP.
It's not that sweet candy kind of nose that you get with Trace. It's not the cherries and grapes that you get from Turkey.
I am getting a little fruit though. You're getting any fruit?
Just a hint.
I'm getting a little fruit.
Like what? Maybe like a strawberry, maybe.
No, a little bit darker of a fruit than a strawberry. Now
The nose is. So let me ask you this. I feel like when I know you and I actually talked about the estate collection months ago on one of our early shows, and I think this is supposed to be what's, I guess, Penelope's version of BTAC. Isn't that kind of what they were going for with this?
I mean, maybe in product design. Now that they're, because I don't know if it's going to be that. It's not. I don't think.
No.
But I will say that their founder's bottle is their first bottle that MSRP is over $100, and it's MSRPing at like $200. And it's distillery only.
Did we find out what the MSRP on this is?
No. So this is a hard bottle. It's hard to find any information. It's somewhere between $70 and $75
Okay.
MSRP. Good luck finding at that.
Right.
Probably not going to happen. Probably more likely between $80 and $100.
I am encouraged. I think you're starting to kind of see it though. You're starting to see it pop
It
up.
could
in
depend
places.
where you are. I don't know how readily available
I don't either.
it's going to be. I mean, it's hard to find any reviews, anything on this bottle.
You ready to give this a swig?
Oh, I'm not done nosing. We got to talking.
I was nosing the entire time you were talking.
Yeah.
It's multitasking, sir.
No, I was talking. You were nosing.
Look, I can
So,
nose and talk at the
Now
same time.
you talk to the folks, and I'll nose.
Hey guys.
Yeah, tons of brown sugar, tons of a lot of butterscotch.
I can see the brown sugar.
This tastes like it's and a little syrupy too. This tastes like it smells like it's going to taste
when you give it the
rich.
twirl, do you get that effervescence that you always talk about, that sassafras that you always? I'm getting that, like kind of like a black licorice on the deep nose.
Nope. That's on the deep nose is where I get the baking spices. Hint. Dude, that's really good, man. That's good. I know you don't want to say it's good.
I'm glad you like it.
I know you don't want to say it's good. That's good.
The finish is good.
No, the initial
The
palate's good.
palate. I don't like the initial palate as much.
This dude hates dessert. Is what I'm gathering.
I don't get dessert out of this. I'm telling. It's a distinct. There's a ton of butterscotch in the finish, which is fabulous. This finishes a lot better
Um,
than any other Penelope I've had.
tons of that whole initial palate's rich. Caramel, brown sugar, almost just like something's caramelized in here. Like a little sugary, like a marshmallow as well. And then once that initial palate dissipates, you get a little hint of oak.
I do get the hint of oak.
That finish for 101.2 is pretty long.
The finish is good. I do like the finish. I do think it's missing something on the palate.
But
It's that ethanol, man.
I was not expecting oak.
I keep calling ethanol. It's not ethanol, right? I don't know what ethanol tastes like. Like I think I've explained this before. What I'm calling ethanol is it's just alcohol. It just tastes like alcohol.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Like Everclear almost, you know?
I mean, it goes from like decadent notes of like marshmallow, caramel, brown sugar. Then then you get like this hint of spicy oak that kind of hangs around a while. I mean, if MSRP is between 70 and 75, it's worth it to me.
Right.
I'm going to assume not to you.
I'm not trying to beat up on it. You know, I don't. Do I think it's bad? No, I don't think it's bad. I'm not overwhelmed by it.
I will say what I'm missing is
the finish is killer. Like it's got a monster finish. I love the finish.
now I'm getting a little hint of fruit as well.
It's and it's the same problem. And
Almost like a cherry.
Like I would even venture to say I love the finish. Right,
Okay.
the finish is killer. It's that initial palate spike that it's hard for me to get past that note.
I have no clue what you're getting.
Alcohol, man.
I don't. It's rich up front. I don't know.
I see, and I find there's nothing up front. I feel like it's all the richness to me comes on the back of the palate and the finish. And yes, do I think it's a good bottle? Yes, I will agree 100% with you that this is a good bottle. Am I paying $75 for it? Probably not.
I would say you'll probably see it in some places. I would not go above 90. You're most likely going to see it in that kind of 80 to 89, 99 range
Probably.
if you see it. I wouldn't go above that.
No,
I wouldn't go
this
to
is not
100.
definitely not a
I certainly
three-digit.
wouldn't go to 150.
This is definitely not a triple-digit bottle.
But if you see it between 75 and 90, and you've liked Penelope in the past, this is for sure a recommendation.
So take Rio out of it, right? Rio is not it's not even similar. This is probably one of the better Penelopes. This is probably the best Penelope I've had. I know you say I gave the 9-year a bunch of tips last time.
This is, I would say that 9-year.
I thought the 9-year had more flavor to it.
The 9 years better. In the as they would say, in Europe, the Tokai
The Tokaji was really nice.
would be maybe slightly better of the ones I've had. The 9's better.
Than this. You're saying the 9's better than okay, so we agree on that.
But I would pay over $100 for that bottle if I saw it again.
If you saw this next to the 9 and you could get one, you're taking the 9 first, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean they're both 9.
Yeah.
But this
bottle
that
looks
was a
cool. I
9-year,
mean, the bottle looks cool. Like they did a nice job with the artwork and the label. I mean, they did a nice job with that. I'll give them that.
But yeah, to me, up front, super rich marshmallow, butterscotch, caramel. I know I looked on their website because I was looking for any kind of reviews I could see on it. One of the notes they said was creme brulee.
I get that on a lot of stuff right now.
I could see a little hint of that.
The biggest creme brulee bomb for me was the Russell's 15. I thought the Russell's 15 just finished just so creme brulee. And same thing with the
Man.
same thing with the Batch 9 Found North. It was just a creme brulee butterscotch finish. I get a hint of that on here, but not on either of those levels.
No, I could see the creme brulee. It's not really what I would use to describe. More butterscotchy, more marshmallow, more caramel.
Hint of oak.
And right after that, I get a little touch of fruit, maybe like a cherry, and then on the finish is kind of where the rye portion kicks in, and you get a little bit of spiciness in oak. A little spiced oak on the finish.
And that's what I keep going back to, man, the finish on this.
The finish is surprisingly long for the proof point.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about just the flavor. Like, I feel like, I don't know if there's a way that they can do that where they can shift the flavor at a different point on the experience. But like,
I mean, but tasting is all subjective. So
for me, all of the flavor comes at the back end and on the finish. I didn't get it. I'm not getting a ton on the nose. I mean, I'm not getting a ton on the initial palate. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. So MGP, you're a winner in my book today.
In conclusion, I would say if you see it, especially if you like Penelope, $80 to $90, scoop it up. I think their plan, since it's a series, is that it'll be annually released.
Probably more than that, right? Like you would think if they're gonna,
so.
You don't think they're gonna do like 3 or 4 a year?
Well,
like with a different batch level, like so.
No, they'll release one of these in a year, so there'll be 3 or 4 bottles in their collection released each year. Okay. But I don't think it's going to be a one-off thing, is what I'm saying. Okay. So I would expect that.
No, I don't think so either.
And there'll probably be some more experimentation as far as, like I know they were saying the Founders this year was a wheat whiskey. Maybe next year it'll be a light whiskey or something. That's, I believe the rule on that one is any of the barrels they have that are aged 10 years or more. So it could be any kind of whiskey. Maybe a rye one year. Who knows? This one will always kind of be a blend.
Masters Keep moves it around a little bit every year. Heaven Hill does that with their old fits too, I think, don't they?
And then
different recipes.
They'll release a single barrel. 11-year single barrel based on that 9-year. That's the one I'm most excited for. But this one's good. 80 to 90. Scoop it up. It's hitting the shelves here.
If you like Penelope,
I don't think you gotta just like Penelope. I'm saying for sure if you like Penelope, you've had it in the past and liked it, for sure 80 and 90. But I don't think this is a bottle where you'll spend 80 on and drink it and be like, oh, that was a huge mistake. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not going to be too different from you on that. But I don't, again, me personally, just based on my palate, it's not a buy at $90.
Penelope hater. Guy hates Penelope.
Keep
that in mind. He hates it.
I'm not a fan.
He hates it, and he thinks this is okay.
It's okay.
So keep that in mind.
But again, I have a hard time paying $90 for just okay.
It's just okay
for me. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. If you get a chance to try it before you buy it, that's ideal.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, probably.
Probably.
Which is why I say 80 to 90. Scoop it up. Just do it. It's the worst thing that can happen.
All right, guys, listen, thanks for tuning in. Hit the like, the subscribe, the comment button. We appreciate all the support. I think Phil's going to be out here in a second. He's going to miss again.
Phil out.
Jesus.
Oh, man, that was close and you know it.
No, it wasn't.